for having me.
With us again this week is Mr. Ademola Adisa, who is joining us live from London, England. Mr. Ademola Adisa, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Happy me.
Sorry. That's the YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss something very, very volatile. And I say volatile because it's something that we all need to be concerned about. I say that Nigeria has become a theater of war on the social media. There's so much going on our social media today. We have become a captive of the social media. We see now on our social media, people coming to Facebook, to Twitter, to talk about how to make money by ritual, how to make money by juju, how to make money, by using juju. We see all these Yahoo boys and girls doing all kinds of things. We've seen people coming to the social media carrying a foshe and carrying things like that. And these are things I think that it doesn't speak well for Nigeria and for Black nations in general. And this is something we think that the government should do something about. And this is something we want to discuss today. So I'm going to start with you, as usual, Mr. Adedigba. I know that you are very, very, very versatile on Facebook. You're somebody. You're a social media influencer. You have a lot of followers, and you put up write-ups most of the time. So you will have seen all this juju and things like that on Facebook. What is your impression about what's going on right now?
Anytime I see ritualist, human being being butchered, being dismembered on the Facebook, my heart sinks. Yeah, because when mistakes is not corrected, it becomes an error. When error is not corrected, right, it becomes a failure. When failure is not corrected, right, I mean, is total jeopardy. It becomes a total failure. And this thing, it will continue. If we don't redress, we need a new orientation. We need to debrief. We need to introduce into the curriculum of the schools. Right from primary school, secondary school, tertiary institutions in Nigeria. These are the youth, our youth. They are like 85% of the population in Nigeria. Because they need help. They need assistance, they need to finance, they need to feed themselves. And some people are flouting words all over every day. They are seeing it. So everybody wants to, I mean, you join them. When we are like them, when we are growing up, we always look to people like Akaba Shorun, Ganifa Wemi, Taisho Lani, Debeko's brother, Olikoye, all these people. These are the people. But this right now, everybody, 419, they graduated to be Yahoo Yahoo. Yahoo graduated to become ritualists. So it has started, but we don't nitpick on the board. That is what is causing this problem. They need to reorientate Nigerians. Maybe through jingles, they need to introduce jingles. I mean, whereby they will be teaching people, they will be imparting knowledge into people that we need to divorce ourselves from this money ritual. It doesn't cost us anything, right? Our government too, government need to provide jobs. Government need to provide enablement. Government need to provide social benefits for the people. People doesn't have means of surviving. You have a family of 9. They will have no without. If you introduce them, Okay, let's go today. They make like 100,000 naira. Next tomorrow they make 2 million. Oh, we want to go and sit down and be looking and be waiting for God to come and provide. So these are the areas government needs a lot of work to do. And ironically, our people, the people who are governing us, they turn a blind eye to all these vices. How is wrong? Because they are not concerned, because they are protected by the police and the army. Right?
Okay.
But what about the family? What about the people?
Okay.
So these are the areas we need to look at. We need to educate our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lighton. Shupo, I know you've seen most of these things on especially on Facebook, where you have people coming onto social media with a for share, and they are cursing people on social media. We've seen Yahoo boys doing all kind of things. We've seen people advertising how to get rich quick, how to use Juju ritual. Should this be on our social media? Should it be on our social space?
So yeah, thank you very much. I think I think to kind of take it, in the different facets, social media I think is a very good avenue to encourage free speech. And in a country like Nigeria, where there really isn't that much freedom of speech to begin with, or let me put it this way, you speak at your own peril. I think having platforms where people can speak out, and speak up, I think is a very, very good thing. And I think we've seen a lot of the very positive impacts and effects that it has on society, how it has helped, generate discussion on critical and important issues, how people have used it to mobilize other people, and a good example, for example, is the NSAS protest. So there are many, many good things that I think social media has been used for. I think on the other note, I mean, if we look at it, there are some unpleasant things that people are using social media platforms for. And I would agree with you that in that note, it's not getting any better. It seems to be getting actually worse. But I think it comes down to several fundamental problems. I think first and foremost, there isn't really that will from lawmakers to, as I have seen, to do much about what is happening with respect to rituals and all of these things. Social media is just an outlet through which people can share some of these things or perpetrate some of these evil. It's been in society for a long time. When you look at the spate of laws that the two houses of legislature in Nigeria have passed, it's mostly around keeping people quiet, and more importantly, because a lot of the people in power, don't want their private affairs, to spill out in public. That's what we've seen. But when you look at, things like rituals and all that, being openly displayed and encouraged on social media, nothing is happening. Some people will argue that the reason that is happening is because a lot of these people that are in government or a lot of these lawmakers themselves actually are participating in some of these activities. So, if you begin to, where will the political will be then to shut it down? So I think for me, I banning outright, I don't think is always a good thing, because at the end of the day, you're also going to hurt the good uses of these platforms.
Okay.
Again, as I've always encouraged, I think, if you put incentives with some a bit of carrot and stick. And a good example could be, you can leave the social media space as is, but have regulations in place and have avenues, for example, for people to report users who are perpetrating some of these things on social media, and let the government enforce the current laws. That would be a very positive way, I think, to deal with it without necessarily, outrightly banning, the use of these platforms.
Okay, thank you, Shupo. Demola, I know that you will be very concerned because As somebody who lives in the United Kingdom, where the image of Nigeria is always very, very important. The image of Black Africans is always very important. When you look on Facebook and you see people carrying a share barbarically, when you see people tying red, all this thing with all these shells all over their body, behaving like cannibals, portraying that as Nigerian culture. How do you feel?
Well, thank you, Deji. One need to understand that it set us back generally, because it make us look as if we are still not growing and we are not ready to develop as a nation, because it's show that we are not being enlightened about the dignity in labor, the productivity, how product can enhance self-development or national development. And these are the concerns that I believe we should be most focused on, because it portrays us as if we are still in the shadow of the past. And when the rest of the world are moving far off. And it look foolish, because it doesn't display any rationality for those beliefs, and it doesn't display any ground for concession other than the waste of human life, because that means we don't value life. We don't value the dignity of life in Nigeria. And this will be a serious concern. They see it as primitive, but also they see it as as if we don't value life, and it scares them. It's debar foreign investment or people coming for tourism, and it debar people from approaching to come to Nigeria to invest or to live or even to associate with what is going on in Nigeria. Now, bear that in mind, we need to ask ourselves, why are people believing in this? Now, spiritually, the essence of ritual killing is also people believe that when they, now let's start from the beginning. People try to make sacrifice using objects, believing that to appease the spirit or God, that to give them favor. They may start with other animals like chicken, like dove or everything, but it graduates because the level of favor they want to have, it graduates to higher level, because the higher you sacrifice very precious things that value to you or to anybody, they believe the more you can see the value of those spirits, which is not necessarily so. And that is where human sacrifice or rituals comes into effect, because people believe that using the goat or animal or chicken or dove for sacrifice to appease the god will not give you as much value as much as using human life, which is more precious. And but it's a waste of life, because you might even sacrifice the person that can even make you somebody in life.
Okay, Demola. Okay, let me pause you there a little bit, and then I'll come back to you later. Lighton, I'm coming back to you now. You know, something that has really surprised me is that in the last few weeks or months, when we've had the instance of ritual killing at the highest. For example, we have this killing in Ile-Ife of Timothy Adegoke. This is still the most talked about. And we know that the mayor of Ife, I forgot his name. Yeah, he has been accused and is in court right now. One thing that surprised me more is that up to today, no Nigerian leader or politician, including the governors of Osun State and Oyo, nobody has ever come out to talk, to even say one thing about it, to condemn the killing. Why?
That is still boiled down to what I always say. Our leaders, they don't see themselves as leaders. Because a lot of money that were involved before they got there. So they don't believe that they are serving people. They go there to go and serve themselves. If you know that, hey, I'm serving these people, how can somebody be killed? Right down in my state, and I never stood up to talk, to say, hey, I remember immediately those things happened. I sent a WhatsApp message to Governor of Fortune. I said he should rise up and condemn that the heinous killing of a undergraduate, postgraduate students in OAU. So the way Obama, when he was here, some guys, they killed themselves in Kentucky. That night, not the following day, that night, he flew to that place to go and commiserate with his parents. These are leaders. These are how leaders should be. In Nigeria, they will be killing in Benue, they will be killing in Plateau, they will be killing them. Buhari will not even say a word. That goes a long way to show you the kind of leaders we have in Nigeria. They don't attach values to human life. If they attach value to human life, they would have made the law immediately. Anybody that kill, they should be killed. Anybody that kidnap, they should be right. National House of Assembly, they are not doing anything. They just get there, continue talking. I've not seen them passing a bill. Okay, anybody that kill in the states too, they are not doing anything. It's as if they are okay. It has become an act in Nigeria that where is human being. If human being were to be expensive, to be precious, why would they be killing them? Why would they be killing themselves? But because they know that human being is not precious before them, that's why they are killing us. They are killing ourselves. I even heard that it is politicians, it's political time now, the election time, that the politicians, they are the ones that are buying it from them. From those people who are I don't know. We need a leader. We need a leader with foresight in Nigeria. A leader that we know the one-run task of being a leader. That okay, this position I want to go and occupy. This is what it entails. I need to go out there. I need to do a process re-engineering to turn around the fortunes of Nigeria. These are the leaders we need.
Okay. Lighton, thank you. Let me pause you there. Shukwa, I'm going to ask you the same question in a different way. We've seen what has happened in the case, especially of Timothy Adegoke, who was gruesomely murdered, buried. And this is a case that has confounded a lot of people, especially in the diaspora. Now, up to this moment that we are talking, no king in Yoruba land has spoken out about it. The family of this young man that was killed, no politician, no king, no big man has gone there to go and visit them, to go and see how are you getting on, what are we going to do for you. The state government has not said this is what we are going to do. We are now relying on Oriyomi Hamzat, the activist, to do all this for us. Somebody is not being sponsored by the state. He's doing everything at his own expense. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, it is a scenario that plays out when we put people in power that are guilty of the same. I'm sorry to put it in that perspective. I mean, if you are a leader, you can condemn a despicable act if you yourself are not doing it, or if you don't have people close to you that are involved in it. When you do, if you yourself as a leader, you are involved in it secretly, or you have people who probably even sponsored your campaign, people who are very close to you, like your godfathers, political godfathers, who are involved in it, it becomes very difficult to actually come out and say, the right thing. That's what's playing out in Nigeria. And I think even a similar thing to this is what we are seeing with this Abba Kyari saga. That the fact of the matter is, people in high places in Nigeria are involved in a lot of these despicable activities. That's why they are all silent. Because if they come out and openly voice their displeasure, their dissatisfaction, they themselves may be the next, that will be shamed.
There'll be a backlash.
Yeah. Or people who know what they've been involved in will point fingers to say that message is the right message, but it's not from the right messenger. So this is the problem. We don't have the will in Nigeria to enforce the law. We don't have the will to hold high people in society to account. We just don't. So it is not surprising that governors, legislators, none of these people are saying anything. Why? Because if you dig deep, they are probably also involved in it. That is the big problem. So, and when you have people who are involved in these activities that are in power, do you think, the average Nigerian is actually going to get justice? I don't think so. So something needs to be done. I mean, in that perspective, if we have to leave it up to bloggers, to bloggers turned activists to maintain, the heat and ensure that the family of Timothy, for example, gets justice, it will tell you the type of society that we are. I mean, when you have a country where even the people who are in charge of enforcing the law are themselves committing crimes, this is a very, very serious issue. And I don't know what the answer is, but I think the reason why people in high power or in high places in Nigeria have not said anything is really because they themselves are probably guilty of it, or they know people who are very close to them who are very, very heavily involved in it.
Thank you, Shupo. Demola, I'm going to ask you a completely different question. But before I ask you the question, I just want to say to all our viewers, this is the Diaspora panel. We are the voice of the diaspora. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe so that anytime we release our videos, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. You can subscribe by going to www.diasporapanel.com or YouTube/diasporapanel.com. If you have any queries or questions, you can send your email to info@diasporapanel.com. Thank you, and God bless you as you subscribe. Demola, the question I want to be asking you, as I said, is a different question. Now, we know that in those days, when the king dies, they will bury slaves with the king. We know that in our culture in those days, there's so many things, the people go and worship Oshun, people will go and worship this. We know they used to behead dogs when they want to worship Zishongo or whatever. These are the kind of things we have in our past, the kind of culture. This is where we come from. We're now in the 21st century. We're in the age of drones. We're in the age where people are going to the moon. We're in the age where people are going to, different technology. We're now in the technological age. Is it not time now for us to, as a people, sit down and remodify our culture so that all these barbaric acts, killing human beings to make money, when coming to the screen with a faucet to come and be cursing people, do you not think this is the time for us as a people to now come together and redefine ourselves? Because at the end of the day, look at the Igbo people, they are progressive. We say we have Juju, what do we have?
Yeah, it's a great concern, at least for the development of Nigeria and for the future of our children. Because what legacy are we leaving for them if we are still stuck in the past? Nations have gone beyond all this. If you look at Indonesia, they were far behind. By the time when we get our independence, we are far ahead of them. They are far over us now. So also like other developing nations that are becoming developed. But instead of us to move forward, we are moving backward. And that come back to our orientation. What is our leadership like? What is the orientation? What are we giving to our children? And what foundation, what example are we leaving behind to let people emulate? Because if we, as elders or leaders, the older generation are not tailoring or teaching the children in that light, they will never come to that light. Because it's what the legacy we leave them is what they will stay with. So we are not encouraging them to live in the present, because a lot of our leaders are stuck in the past as well, because they benefit from it. As it was, the other speakers have said, most of our politicians believe in those old adage, in those old practices. And they believe it's those things that keeping them in power by killing people and sacrificing them with what to retain them in power. So they will want to maintain it because they want to maintain that power. And essence, what we need to look forward is, how are we going to reorientate our people? And this is where we can turn the social media around to educate our young ones, show them examples of what have been achieved, people of their age are achieving in other countries. Let's show them to see the dignity that they can find in labor, that if they work hard, they can achieve a lot. Teach them about the life history of Bill Gates, how he started from nothing and become, and you don't need a money-making rich spirit more than what Bill Gates has made from inventing in computing, in computer science. So the real ritual is in their creativity, not in its indolence and laziness, thinking that a spirit will bring you something that never exists. You are foolish. You will never grow in that light.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Demola. So finally, I'm just going to give you 1 minute each to say your social media declaration. And I'm going to start with you, Lighter. Look into the camera. What do you think Nigerian government should do now?
Nigerian government, we should think about the future that we want to be cute. Now it is high time we be thinking about how to leave Nigeria better than we met her. We need new orientation. Sit down with the people at the end of affairs. Sit down with the legislative, executive, and judiciary. Ask them for the way out. What do we do? How do we educate these people? How do we debrief the children from the craziness of words? How do we disabuse these people from searching for money at all costs? How do we go and look we ourselves at the end of affairs? How do we go low profile to cite to show an example, a leadership example to those people following us? We don't want and provide adequately for the people. Well, the issue of 5,000, you should know. I mean, we should every week they should find a way around it. They should be provided money. An idle man is every workshop. Somebody who doesn't eat, it will result to self-help. Right. And once it believe that the self-help is okay, then it will go ahead, it will graduate. That is what is resulting to this leadership. Our leaders in Nigeria provide for the Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shukwa, what is a social media declaration? What should Nigerian government or Nigerian people do now to checkmate what is going on from getting from bad to worse?
I think simple solutions. The government can start with something as simple as a hotline where people can actually report anyone that they know or suspect who is involved in any of these activities. It's as simple as that. But that also has to come with the will to perform the right investigation and to bring whoever is involved, irrespective of their power, of their position in society, to account. I think that is the easiest, simple way to effect change, to send a message that these acts are unacceptable and will no longer be tolerated in Nigerian society.
Thank you very much, Chupo. Demola, the social media declaration, what do you think should be done to checkmate what's going on?
Yeah, there are two ways that I will expect Nigeria to go about it. One, because one is education. Education priority in Nigeria should become, because if you look at any developed world, they never deal with their education. It's Nigeria that I think they want to grow, and yet they don't value the education in itself. They don't finance education appropriately, and our education curriculum doesn't reflect our goals for the future. So we need to restructure our education system and curriculum to reflect and bring back value in creativity. Two is the law and order. Social killing or whatever is a crime. The law must be able to take effect and appropriately to prosecute and punish anybody that evaluates or take anybody's life or deform anybody in any way. So our laws need to be strengthened. Our law enforcement agency, we need to be boosted, and the courts need to stand up to their responsibility as well. Then the punishments should justify and serve as a deterrent to anybody that want to perpetrate that act. If this is done, I think there will be new orientation and new direction for Nigerian youth and Nigerian society.
Thank you very much, Demola. We've come to the end of today's deliberations. And just before I close the meeting, I just want to say that in my own social media declaration, I will advise the federal government of Nigeria and the state government to set up a social media watchdog that will actually check the different social media, like Facebook, like Twitter, that will actually check them to make sure that whatever is being displayed on their walls does not in any way, take Nigeria into disrepute, and does not in any way, cause all our youths to go astray. They should take the social media houses, they should let them take responsibility. If somebody is coming to your wall and they are displaying how to do oshole, how to make money, quick money, and when somebody is coming with a foshe and is causing people, they should be able to pull it down quick, so that this doesn't, go viral, because these are things that go viral, and at the end of the day, it consumes the society. So I will advise that the government of Nigeria needs to set up what I call social media watchdog. Thank you, Mr. Olatande Digba, who is in America. Thank you for today's, thank you for wonderful contribution. Mr. Olashukolawa in Canada, thank you for your wonderful contribution. Mr. Demola Desa, I want to thank you too for making up the time. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And to all our viewers,